सर रमा मैम अभी तक नहीं आ पाई है। रमा मैम सर, रमा मैम। नहीं सर, रमा जी। हाँ आ गए सर, आ गए अभी जस्ट आई। रमा मैम यू कैन अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ मैम। रमा मैम, रमा मैम यू कैन अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ। रमा मैम, am I audible to you ma'am?
I'm trying. Yes. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Hello? Hello, am I audible now?
Yes ma'am, am I audible? Yes ma'am, now I can hear your voice ma'am.
Now,
Hello?
can you, am I audible now?
Yes ma'am, you are audible ma'am. This display
Yeah.
is, ma'am, display is fine ma'am. You can see the display.
I'm trying. But Babu, to that na? I'm trying to make myself.
No ma'am, I'm just saying that the display is visible ma'am, the PPT. PPT is visible to you.
Yeah, PPT is visible.
Ma'am, I'm starting adding the participants. Please request them to join with their school name, code and the name.
Yes.
Ma'am, please tell the participant to join with their school code and name. They are joining with multiple names, ma'am. The procedure is
The school code and name. Na? Everyone has to rename themselves. All the participants have to rename themselves according to their school code and name.
Yes, ma'am.
It is given so many times. Please follow. Yes. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Radhika, ma'am, you can unmute yourself, ma'am.
Please unmute me in my laptop.
Sure, ma'am. It's the same name, ma'am.
Rama Chakrabarty. Vishwajit Chakrabarty may be the name.
No,
You can see me.
Ma'am, I'm just getting one name, ma'am, with the Rama.
Can you do that?
Ma'am, I'm just getting one name, ma'am. With Rama, I'm just getting one name. That's yours. It's Raman, Ramakant, Anand Raman, and Veera Mani Kumari.
Please see Vishwajit Chakrabarty.
Which, ma'am?
Vishwajit Chakrabarty, did you get?
No, ma'am. It starts with BISH.
BISH.
V for victory, right, ma'am?
B for Bombay.
Yes, ma'am. I got it. Please give me a minute.
Can you unmute there?
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Ma'am, please unmute yourself, ma'am. I've given the co-host rights to the Vishwajit Chakrabarty.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
No.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Audible?
Yes, ma'am. Audible. Ma'am, Radhika, ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
So
ma'am.
I have switched off the phone, otherwise it will echo.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. There are some of the participants who have raised hand in the beginning. Mr. Abhay, can you see what is the issue with them? 20 participants raised hand. I do not know what's the problem.
Sure,
In
ma'am.
the beginning, you please avoid raising hands. Afterwards, you can ask questions. And if there is time, that will be discussed. Participants are being requested to keep their hands down. Just at the beginning, don't raise your hand. The two participants who have raised their hand, they are requested to please keep it down. Don't raise hand in the beginning. Are we starting, Mr. Abhay? Are we starting? Hello.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Today's we have got a lot of teachers are there.
Yes.
By Mr. Abhay, technical person, I'm requesting to allow those who are on waiting room to enter. Before starting it, there is a request to all the participants that please rename yourself. How to rename? Please click on the area where your initials are written. Click it, then you will get the two options. Lower option is rename yourself. Kindly rename with your school code or school number. You can see that I rename myself with my school code, that is 66875. फिर से अनुरोध है सभी से, हम अच्छी टीचर बनने के लिए हमें अच्छी स्टूडेंट को अच्छी स्टूडेंट बनाने के लिए हम पहले अच्छी टीचर बनना है. अच्छी टीचर वही होता है जो immediately do it as per the directions. Kindly rename yourself and go ahead. Today, along with us, a mentor, our trainer is none other than Miss Rama Chakrabarty. She's a passionate teacher and talented and innovative principal who has got 17 years experience as teacher in renowned schools like DAV and DPS. Apart from last 6 years, she is working as principal. Presently, she is working in IIT campus, that is Foundation Academy, Beta Schools. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome to you in this show and in this webinar also. But before starting it, to the all the teachers, we the teachers face problem in the classroom, that is bullying. 5 or 6 students always in the classrooms that who does these things and create nuisance in the class, and we are unable to handle the classroom. Sometimes we feel fed up that because of that we cannot complete our portions. And such an important topic today's ma'am taking out, and this workshop, she will teach us, she will train us, she will guide us how to handle the situation. And thank you, ma'am. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me this honor of being the mentor of this session. And we have a large number of teachers today. So we are going to discuss actually every teacher when they get their experiences through classroom teaching, through school administration, they know that it is very important to take care of these situations. I am finding myself to be privileged and honored that none other than the president of our Aryavat Sahodaya has introduced my session. We are not going to discuss other things now. Let us start with the topic. So what happens, we know.
Thank you, ma'am, and you can start the session. Yes,
Yeah.
we are also feel honored that today's our mentor is one of the talented principal. So, ma'am, please
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Children's social lives. We all are concerned with children's social lives, their academic lives. So the social lives and their academic lives go hand in hand. Whether or not they have friends, whether they are accepted or rejected by their peers, or whether they are victims or perpetrators of aggression. This means that we cannot fully understand the factors that lead to academic achievement without knowing about the social environment of children in school. For example, children who have few friends, who are actively rejected by the peer group, or who are victims of bullying, are unlikely to have the cognitive and emotional resources to be able to do well in school. Bullying can have long-term effects on students' academic achievement, commonly labeled as peer victimization or peer harassment. School bullying is defined as physical, verbal, or psychological abuse of victims by perpetrators who intend to cause them harm. Remember, my friends, bullying is always done to cause harm to our children or to cause harm to their targets. Okay? So, if we can go back into history, historically, Thomas Hughes, in his 1857 novel, Tom Brown's School Days, it details intensive school bullying. But the first major scholarly journal article to address school bullying appears to have been written in 1897. Research in school bullying has dramatically expanded over time, rising from 62 citations in the 90 years between 1900 and 1990. Only these statistics can show us how important is the topic. But before going to that, let us introduce ourselves to this word, bullying, bully, where from these words have come. So we are going to the next slide first. Okay. So we are going to, in the previous screen, there was a link to film. But later on, I decided not to show you the film, but to tell something from my own life. In 2018, I was busy preparing for the biggest Lakshmi Puja of the year. It was 5th of October, as I remember. But actually, I don't want to remember. It's a black day for me. What happened? My niece, only of 13 years, a very talented, very nice student of 13 years only, she had committed suicide on that day because she couldn't bear the pain. She was a very, very good student. At the same time, she was calm and quiet, and she could not bear the pain and the harassment. And so she committed suicide because she was the victim of bullying. She was Swarna. So I told you this story because I think on the way of growing up, we all were sometimes or the other, we have experienced this bullying in our life, or we were the target of bullying, or we have seen someone being bullied in front of us, but couldn't get the courage to protest. So before going any further, we know about the meaning and etymology. Bully is a verb. It can also be a noun. Noun. Bully as a verb means seek to harm, seek to uh, intimidate, coerce. And the origin is the Dutch word boel or the German boel. But when we are going to see the evolution of this word, we'll see that originally it was a term of endearment. But later on, it took up this meaning. So bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior among school-aged children, not only in school-aged children, even among youngsters, you can see a lot of bullying. It involves a real or perceived power imbalance. Remember, in our latest slides also, we will see that there must be some power imbalance or information imbalance between the bully and his or her target. And it is a repeated behavior, and it is always unwanted and aggressive in nature. Let us go to the next slide. So you can see the evolution of the word in mid-16th century, probably from Middle Dutch. Boel that time was meaning lover. Original use was as a term of endearment applied to either of the sexes, but later it became a familiar form of address to a male friend. The current sense dates from the late 17th century. Noun form also it is used, and some of the experienced scholars, they tell that it has come not from boel or boel, but it has come from bull or a bullock, that is the bull calf. Before going any further, let us see the etymology and evolution a little more. The critical features that distinguish bullying from simple conflict between peers are intentions to cause harm, repeated incidences of harm, and imbalance of power between perpetrator and victim. Some examples of an imbalance of power are physically stronger youth picking on weaker peers, older students harassing younger students, or numerical majority group members deriding numerical minority members. Hitting, kicking, shoving, name calling, spreading of rumors, exclusion, intimidating gestures, eye rolling by powerful peers are all these are examples of harassment that may be physical, verbal, or psychological in nature. Some definitions of bullying state that the harassment must be repeated over time. let us underline this repetition, the repetitive nature of bullying. However, even a single traumatic incident or peer victimization can be painful and raise fears about continued abuse. This definition of school bullying does not include more lethal sorts of peer directing hostilities. Although some widely publicized school shootings may have been precipitated by a history of peer abuse, they remain rare events. The focus of this module is on more typical and widespread types of bullying that affect the lives of many children, and they have been labeled as a public health concern by all, by one and all. So, if we go to the American Psychological Organization, bullying is a form of aggressive behavior in which someone intentionally and repeatedly causes another person injury or discomfort. Bullying can take the form of physical contact, words, or more subtle actions which is not visible then and there. The bullied individual typically has trouble defending him or herself and does nothing to cause the bullying. Although bullying is not triggered by the behavior of the victim. Rather, they are the helpless targets. So, although bullying is sometimes seen as a part of growing up, or sometimes the parents tell kids are being kids. Imagine the kid who is picked on every day, whether physically, socially, or through cyberbullying. Think about the 12-year-old teen, not even teen, who committed suicide in Florida following a year of bullying at the hands of two young girls. So it can go to that further. Consider an 8-year-old boy who writes to Santa Claus about his twin sister being bullied over her weight. We all know those who are a little fat or a little chubby. Sometimes they also hear during their growing up years, they have heard, even I have heard. Okay. So this body shaming, repeated body shaming, bullying, this happens. Bullying is a prevalent form of youth violence, particularly in school settings. As illustrated in all those examples that we have already discussed, it is defined by aggressive behavior that is intentional, that is mean, and that occurs repeatedly over time and within the context of a power imbalance. Although both are harmful to youth, there is an important distinction between bullying and aggression. If there is an occasional conflict of fighting between two children of equal strength, size, and social status, that is aggression. That is not bullying, and that is not so harmful. But if we talk about making target of a weaker boy or a weaker girl, hitting physically or abusing verbally, that becomes bullying, and that is actually something of real concern for teachers. As teachers, for us in a school and even beyond the school timing, we are the guardians of our students. So we have to take care of this, you can tell menace. So let us go to the next one. This slide is talking about the important characteristics. Now, just to remember, we will remember them as AIR. A for aggression, I for imbalance, and R for repetition. But before going to that, let us talk about all the other characteristics. Let us discuss. First of all, bullying is intentional. It's never that accidentally it happens. It is intentional. One or more young people choose to bully a single or many other students. The target is not to blame. Bullies are responsible for their actions. We have to remember that. Then, so it is not intentional. Number two, bullying is aggressive behavior. It is unprovoked, it is hostile, sometimes violent, and often threatening behavior. Bullies seek to hurt, bullies seek to harm, threaten, harass, intimidate, and terrorize the targets. It often spans a long period of time, not just one incident, though sometimes the incident may be severe enough in one incident. Hitting, name calling, isolating, ostracizing, terrorizing, threatening are common bullying tactics. And number three, bullies seek power and control. I have told imbalance is there at the root. Bullying is not simple or innocent play. It is not fun for the target. And many peers who are watching the behaviors, generally, the bully seeks domination and control over the targets, as well as witnesses and bystanders. Bullying may be physical, verbal, or visual. Physical bullying includes hitting, slugging, kicking, pushing, shoving, pulling, and restraining the target. Name calling can be insults, can be belittling, taunting, gossiping, and threatening. These are examples of verbal bullying. And there can be cyber bullying. But we have to remember the important characteristics, that is aggression, imbalance of power, and repetition. Let us go to the next one. This is type. We have already started about the types of bullying that can happen in the classes or around the classes or in the playground, wherever. So bullies can be verbal, can be physical, verbal, visual, psychological, or cyberbullying. So physical bullying includes, I have already told, and this is something which you can readily discover. You can understand that physical bullying is happening, and it's very easy to catch hold of those who are bullying, and whosoever is the target has to be taken proper care of. We are actually, all the bullies are mean. Physical bullying is mean, verbal bullying is mean, written bullying is mean. Social bullying, not very prominent, will be a little difficult to find out. But social bullying can also cause very bad type of trauma. Okay. What about cyberbullying? When we will talk, the use of technology to bully is out of control here. Through emails, through phone calls, through texting, through use of social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and the other apps. Internet communications are there now 24/7. The bully is sometimes anonymous and always behind the device. So they are emboldened act because they know that it is very difficult to catch hold of them. It is more difficult to intervene in cyberbullying and until the damage has been done. I have told in the case of Swarna, my niece, the damage has been done before it was caught. Even today, who are the perpetrators, we do not know. Bullying may be clearly discriminatory. Bullies often consider one's race, ethnicity, religion, skin color, sexual orientation, disability, as well. Almost any real or imaginary difference can be caused as an excuse to bully. And bullying is not an innocent prank or pastime. So we are talking about types of bullying. There are many different types of bullying. Here we are more discussing about physical, verbal, social, and cyber. So what is physical bullying? It includes hitting, kicking, tripping, pinching, pushing, shoving, damaging property. Physical bullying causes both short-term and long-term damages. What about verbal bullying, where the bullying includes name calling? किसी को कलोटी बोलना, किसी को मोटी बोलना, insults, you are coming from a low family, teasing, intimidation, homophobic or racist remarks, or verbal abuse. While verbal bullying can start off harmless, it can escalate to levels which start affecting the individual target. Then there is social bullying, sometimes referred to as covert bullying, is often harder to recognize and can be carried out behind the bullied person's back. It is designed to harm someone's social reputation or cause humiliation. So, social bullying, if we talk about, it can include lying, spreading rumors, negative facial or physical gestures, menacing, contemptuous looks, playing nasty jokes to embarrass and humiliate, mimicking unkindly, encouraging others to socially exclude someone, damaging someone's social reputation or social acceptance. Sometimes the bullies are so mean, they actually spread wrong rumors about the target. When I have already talked about cyberbullying, so the Cyberbullying Research Center defines cyberbullying as intentional and repeated harm inflicted through the use of computers, telephones, mobile phones, and other electronic devices. Cyberbullying can be overt or covert bullying behaviors using digital technologies, including hardware such as computers and smartphones and software such as social media, instant messaging, website, and other online platforms. Let us remember that during the past 2 years, when we have uh, sometimes we had to take uh, help of the or online platform. So this online platform has made us जो बोलते हैं ना आमने सामने कितना विचित्र तरीका का मतलब बुलिंग हो सकता है through online, we have come to know. Sharing distorted pictures, writing rumors, socially excluding someone, making groups. So different types of bullying has come in front of us. We have to take care of them. Next one, please. So the next question is, where can bully occur and when can these type of events occur? The answer is another question, where not and when not. This we can tell that this type of bullying, the different types of bullying, maybe the physical, maybe the verbal, maybe the psychological or the cyberbullying, it can occur during or after school hours, inside the school building, in the playground, inside school bus, in neighborhood, on internet, and we actually know not where not. So, according to NICHD survey, youth from urban, suburban, rural areas all are equally likely to be bullied, while suburban youths are slightly less likely and rural youths are slightly more likely than the national average to bully others. Across all the settings, bullying tends to happen most often in and around schools, specifically in those areas where there is little or no adult supervision. We as teachers or principals should remember bullies occur specifically in those areas where there is very little supervision or no adult supervision. So we have to take care of what I should tell, that all those secluded areas, all those quiet areas, the garages, the space under the stairs, the playground corners, the hallways, the cafeterias, or empty classrooms. We have to supervise. We have to make a system where the supervision is always present. If we can take care of that, then the incidences of bullying can be lesser. As for age differences, the bullying literature presents a rather inconsistent picture of the manner in which bullying rates change across to the K-12 grade range. Some studies indicate that bullying is most prevalent during the elementary school years, while others show an increase and peak during the adolescence. So let us consider the following. In some national survey data, as well as in many other studies, the percentage of students who reported being bullied at school decreased with increasing age and grade level. In fact, such studies indicate that there are approximately twice as many victims of bullying in the primary grades as in the secondary grades. So our primary teachers, the mother teachers have to be very, very careful of every little incident inside the classroom. In contrast, the number of self-reported bullies remained fairly stable across those years. And as well as many other studies, the typical trajectory of bullying is an increase and peak after elementary school. So these two data are actually contradictory to each other. We never know whether bullying occurs more in elementary school or it occurs more in middle school or in higher grades. So as teachers, we have to be careful all the time. When we will talk about the frequency, then cyberbullying is a growing social problem that has become all too common in online communities. Research indicates that 1 in 5 tweens, that is, those in their teenagers or in their 20s, has been cyberbullied, while 59% of teens have been harassed online, and the rate of which online bullying is occurring does not seem to be declining. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, I have already discussed, and you all will agree with me that cyberbullying escalated like anything. During stay-at-home orders, research shows cyberbullying increased 70% and toxicity on online gaming platforms increased 40%. These numbers actually illustrate that despite increased education and improved schooling, bullying prevention programs, incidences of cyberbullying continue to escalate. So parents need to do what they can to prevent cyberbullying in their kids' lives. I think we as teachers or the school administrator sometimes can arrange some workshops or some training sessions even for our parents where they will be told about the danger signs and how they can supervise their children and their well-being and how they can supervise what is happening in the cyberspace or when their children are using the smartphones or laptops or other things. So the teachers and the guardians, they both uh, have to be a little on their toes. They have to be careful. When asked about the inconsistency in the bullying literature, psychologist Susan Swearer, assistant professor of school psychology at the University of Lincoln and principal investigator of a comprehensive program of research examining the ecology of bullying and victimization. I will read it out from something. I think that she tells that I think that perhaps the most accurate statement is that bullying takes on different forms across the lifespan. For example, bullying in elementary school may be more physical and therefore more easily observed. Bullying in high school may be more akin to sexual harassment and thus less observable. Most research suggests that bullying peaks during the middle school years. It peaks during the middle school years, and researchers have hypothesized that the transition from elementary to middle school, the need to re-establish peer relationships, and puberty may all account for this increase. In any case, I think the most defensible statements is that bullying is a problem across all ages. So we have to remember these words of caution and these words of experience and research work. Now, next one, next slide. So we were talking about cyberbullying. I have already discussed about the frequency. The 2017 School Crime Supplement research from NCESBJ says about 20% of students aged 12 to 18 years experience bullying. Next one, please. Next. So here we are going to talk about cyberbullying types. Actually, there are so many types of cyberbullying. We are going to discuss a little about each, and afterwards we will actually highlight these 4 types which are more prevalent or which are more important for us to know. That is doxing, harassment, impersonation, and cyberstalking. But I will start with, when we will discuss about types of cyberbullying, we will start with exclusion. Exclusion is the act of leaving someone out of the group deliberately. Exclusion exists with in-person bullying situations, but is also used online to target or bully a victim. For example, your child might be excluded or uninvited to groups or parties while they see other friends being included, or left out of messages, threads, or conversations that involve mutual friends. Next is harassment. It is given here on the slide. What is harassment? There can be cyberbullying in the form of cyber harassment, sharing bad pictures, dirty pictures, editing the photographs of someone and sharing them in public. All those comes in this group, harassment. So harassment is a broad category under which many types of cyberbullying fall into, but it generally refers to a sustained and constant pattern of hurtful or threatening online messages sent with the intention of doing harm to someone. Next one is also very, very important, which is coming on the first point here, that is outing or doxing. They are the same thing. Outing, also known as doxing, refers to the act of openly revealing sensitive or personal information about someone without their consent for purposes of embarrassing or humiliating them. This can range from the spreading of personal photos, distorted photos, documents of public figures, to sharing an individual's saved personal messages in an online private group. The key is the lack of consent from the victim. So this is outing or doxing. The next one is not there in the slide, but we should know about that. That is trickery. Trickery is similar to outing with an added element of deception. In these situations, the bully will befriend their target and then give them a false sense of security. Once the bully has gained the target's trust, they abuse the trust and share secrets and private information to a third party or multiple third parties. You can you can just imagine about the shock. Next one is also very important, cyber stalking. Cyber stalking is a particularly serious form of cyberbullying that can extend to threats of physical harm to the child being targeted. It can include monitoring, false accusations, threats, and is often accompanied by offline stalking. It is a criminal offense and can result in a restraining order, probation, and even jail time for the perpetrator. So this is all about cyber stalking. The next one, it's not in the slide, but we should know that is frapping. Frapping is when a bully uses your child's social networking accounts to post inappropriate content with their name. It can be harmless when friends write funny posts on each other's profiles, but has potential to be incredibly harmful. For example, a bully posting racial or homophobic slurs through someone else's profile to ruin their reputation, the social reputation. Then there is dissing. Dissing refers to act of a bully spreading cruel information about their target through public posts or private messages to either ruin their reputation or relationship with other people. In these situations, the bully tends to have a personal relationship with the victim, either as an acquaintance or as a friend. Then trolling, we all come across different situations of trolling, even in the news. Trolling is when a bully will seek out to intentionally upset others by posting inflammatory comments online. Trolling may not always be a form of cyberbullying, but it can be used as a tool to cyberbully. And then there is flaming. What is flaming? This type of online bullying constitutes of posting about or directly sending insults and profanity to their target. And the next one is there in the slide, that is impersonation. Impersonation works in different ways. A cyberbully can use a false identity, for example, on Facebook, to torment their victim, thus covering their own tracks. Or a cyberbully can impersonate someone other victim knows, perhaps to damage relationship or spread information out of their victim, or the cyberbully can impersonate their victim in order to ruin their reputation. So cyberbully is very, very dangerous, and we should know all these things about cyberbullying, all these different techniques of cyberbullying, and we have to be vigilant to uh, actually protect our children from being the bullies or being the victim of the cyberbullies. Next one, please. So, how to prevent cyberbullying? Before discussing these, we should remember that cyberbullying can include abusive or hurtful text, emails, posts, images, videos, deliberately excluding others online, nasty groups or rumors, nasty gossips or rumors, imitating others online on using their login. This behavior is not a one-off episode. It is repetitive, it is habitual to be considered bullying. Students who are the victims or who are the bullies sometimes have parents of lower educational levels, are thought to be provocative, are perceived to be vulnerable, or are typical or considered outsiders, are at higher risk of being victimized by bullies. Cyberbullying is a growing social problem that has become all too common in online communities, And research indicates that 1 in 5 of the growing youngs, they have been cyberbullied, while 59% of the teens have been harassed online. So prevention is important. Prevention is very, very important because cyberbullying is deliberately and repeatedly inflicting harm using different devices, which are very common and which are used by all our children, all our students. Research has shown that those who are cyberbullied suffer a number of different consequences, including struggling emotionally, physically, mentally, and academically. What's more, cyberbullying is a significant stress inducer in a young person's life. Cyberbullying leaves young people feeling hurt, embarrassed, and sometimes even scared. Not only do they often blame themselves for the torment and harassment they experience, but they are also left with extremely stressed out. They are extremely stressed out after the episodes of bullying. In fact, one study found that nearly 35% of those targeted by cyberbullies reported symptoms of stress. So, what we should do to prevent cyberbullying? We have to be aware of our child's online activities. It's not always possible that you remain seated by your child while he is using different apps or he is using his smartphone or the laptop. But you should know in between, you should intervene and you should know what is happening online. Watch for the following signs. You have to be very, very vigilant for these signs. What? Refusal to allow you to see. The child is keeping the phone under his personal lock, and he is refusing to show you what is happening in his smartphone, or avoidance of discussing. When the child is not discussing what he is doing online and why this is important. Sudden unexplained increase or decrease in online activity. The child who was very much attached to on-screen activities, sometimes if he shuts the laptop and switches off the smartphone and don't go for all those activities, that is also, you can tell, a danger signal. Deactivating social media accounts he must be involved in something wrong, and that is why he or she is deactivating the social media accounts. And emotional responses in the form of shouts or cries, these are the danger signals. So if they happen when you are discussing about the online activities of your child, if these things happen, you have to be vigilant enough about your child's online activities. Next one, please. So what are the problems? We have already discussed. There can be emotional problems. There can be likelihood of anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, lowered scholastic achievement, increased likelihood for victims of bullying offline, suicidal thought and attempt. That is the ultimate. So, if we don't take care of these type of incidences, the targets or the victims can be for their lifetime, they can have these type of problems. Okay. It is also not uncommon for cyberbullying victims to feel alone and isolated. Many kids who are targeted report being ostracized at school. These experiences in turn actually impacts their self-esteem and feeling of self-worth. Ultimately, cyberbullying can lead to self-harm and even suicidal thoughts. For that matter, any form of bullying is detrimental for the emotional, physical, social, and other health of the victims and even for the bullies. When kids are regularly harassed by others through social media posts, text messages, instant messaging, and blog posts, they can start to feel hopeless. They may start to think that the only way to escape the torment is through suicide, because the risks associated with cyberbullying are so significant. It is important that parents take steps to prevent cyberbullying in their kids' lives. Next one, please. So harassment, I think we have already discussed in length. So harassment, what is harassment? It can be languages, it can be actions that are demeaning, offensive, intimidating to a person. This is always unwelcoming, unreciprocated, and harassment has a strong physical component. That is, there can be contact and touch in all its forms, intrusion into personal space and possessions. Bullying can be exclusively psychological or organizational, but may also become physical. Next one. What is not bullying? See, sometimes children who are equally strong, they fight. So mutual conflict, single episode fight, social rejection or dislike, they are unpleasant, but they are not bullying. How will you diagnose whether something is a part of bullying or not? I have told you about that AIR. There, by that, you can judge. If it is repeated, if it is intentional, and if there is some power imbalance between the two, then it's a bullying, otherwise not. Next one. Now the participant's role. This is also very, very important. Where if you go through the situation of bullying, you will see the children who are present over there, or for any care for that case, for any instances of bullying, the people who are over there or the students who are over there, they can be engaged, means they are the bullies themselves, they are torturing others, they are abusing others, they are harassing others. So they are actually the perpetrator, or they are engaged in the act. Then there is the target or the victim who is being bullied. That is the victim. Then the assist for the bully. If the bully is more powerful or more popular, you will see that a number of students will assist, also help them in that like situation. So they are the assist. There will be some 2, 3, or 4 who will encourage verbally, but they will not directly be there for the total situation. Means एक को अगर एक वीक स्टूडेंट को 2-3 मिलके पीट रहा है, तो कुछ होगा जो वर्बली बोलेंगे और मारो, और उसका मतलब मुंह के ऊपर मारो, उसको कान लेके ऐसे कर दो, इसको शार्ट फाड़ दो, तो दो दे आर द एनकरेजिंग वन. असिस्ट मींस जो साथ साथ मार रहे हैं. And there are some people who are passive. They will see the whole thing, but they will not inform the teacher, they will not inform the parents, and they will just see the whole thing. They are the worst possible people. And there will be a very little, maybe 1 or 2 upstander who will tell that whatever is happening there is wrong, and that's why it should be stopped. Or the upstander can run away from that place and can inform the teacher or inform a guardian, so that the whole episode can stop. So those teachers who are taking care of prevention of bullying in the school, there they have to just find out what is the role of each participant in the class. Engaged, they are the culprit. Target is the victim. You have to take care of them. Assist, encourage, and passive, they all are wrong. But passive को आप छोड़ दे सकते हो. Upstander को लेके आपको काम करना शुरू करना पड़ेगा. Upstander को समझना पड़ेगा जो भी वो किए हैं बहुत अच्छा किए हैं. And in the class, if you can tell that, see, he is, we are proud of this girl or we are proud of this boy because he was the upstander and he has protested and he has informed the proper authority. So the passive, slowly and gradually, they will join the group of upstander. And when the other children will see that the upstander is actually blessed or benefited or they are getting good name, slowly and gradually, they will shun the group of the engaged one, that is the bully himself or herself, and they will be better students when we consider empathetically or we are talking about emotionally. Okay, next one. Who are more vulnerable means who are the targets of bullying? Those who are different, maybe different in academics. A very good, very talented student who is a little silent can be a victim. The introvert ones, those who are suffering from depression or anxiety, those who are having some disability, those who are having low self-esteem, different and deep thinkers who do not move in groups, but they are secluded. Intelligent ones, the determined ones, the creative ones, the isolated, lacking good friends, they all can be victims. They all can be victims of bullying. Next one. Next one. Yeah. So these are the short-term and long-term effects of bullying. As teachers, we all know, effects on the victim can be social isolation, feeling of shame, the sense of why me. ऐसा मेरे साथ क्यों होता है? जरूर मेरे में ही कुछ कमी है. Sleep disturbance, changes in eating habits, avoidance of school. बच्चा बोलता है स्कूल जाने के टाइम स्कूल नहीं जाना है, मेरा पेट में दर्द है, मेरा सर में दर्द है. Actually, he is being bullied, and that's why he or she wants to avoid school. There can be low self-esteem, symptoms of anxiety, bedwetting, higher risk of illness, psychosomatic symptoms means the pain is actually in the brain, but he is feeling that there is stomach problem, there is problem in the leg, poor school performance, because if he is not, he's avoiding school or she's avoiding school, not sitting for examination, not attending classes, and he or she cannot concentrate. So there will be poor school performance or the symptoms of depression. Next one, please. So effects on the bully, already we have discussed. Poor school performance, suspension from the school because of long absenteeism. There can be poor school performance because the bully is suspended from the class by the authority, by the school authority. Truanciness, difficulty maintaining social relationship, increasing risk of substance abuse, because we have seen, psychologists have seen, those who are engaged in these actions of bullying, those who are bullying themselves or the target, both are having the increased risk of substance abuse like drug abuse or alcohol abuse in their later life, because they cannot manage the stress. So they just go into that direction. There is long-term effect on both. Next one. What are the ways that the teachers can at least ensure minimum bullying? First of all, you need to sensitize. You need to sensitize your students. You have to educate them that this is called bullying and bullying is a crime. So you should not be a part of it. And if you see someone being bullied, please inform us. You have to create a very safe and supportive environment. While it will be difficult to have that type of secluded space where bullying can happen. So you have to create a safe and supportive environment. I remember I always tell in my school also that once the classes are over, the once the last child comes out, the teacher has to close the door from outside and go. So before that, it is the teacher's, the subject teacher's duty to be there in the class so that no incidences of bullying can happen in the absence of teacher. The same thing should happen when the students come to school. The classrooms should always be supervised by a teacher or some monitors who will report about any this type of situation. Then offer support. If you see that someone is a victim, you have to offer support. Seek professional development if required. Carve out safe spaces. You can tell your students that if you feel that you are vulnerable, if you feel that you are being a victim and no one is there to help, so these are the places where you can go. These are the safe spaces where you will never be harmed by anyone. You have to involve students also in prevention of bullying by sensitizing them, by educating them, and by telling them how to act when something like this is happening in front of their eyes. Next one, please. So this is the end. I think I had many other things to discuss, but no time to speak more. I do not know whether I could give you something, but I tried. And it's such a, yes. Himanshu, sir, are you telling something?
No, ma'am. Please continue.
Yes. So if there are any questions, you can put in the chat box and we will just take time to answer that. Or otherwise, if Himanshu sir says that today's session comes to an end, we can deal with the questions afterwards.
We can allow the participants to unmute and ask the question. Mr. Abhay, please allow them. If you have any query.
Unmute themselves.
Cannot hear.
Madam, I have a question. May I be given an opportunity?
Yes, I'll try.
want
I'll
to
try,
ask
ma'am.
you.
Yeah.
Madam, where to seek help in case you are being cyber bullied? There's cyber stalking, cyber bullying. Where to seek help from?
I think we all know the answer. If we are adults, then police is there. Okay, we can directly report it to the police. But in case of school children, the school level counselor or the local psychologist, if this is an extreme case and we don't want to go to the police, then parents are there. You have to just tell the parents about the whole incidents and how important it is to discuss with the school counselor or with a good psychologist.
Thank you very much.
Bullying, the school should be administered in such a way that there is no space for bullying. School should be a zero bullying place.
There are cyber cells also. You can
Yeah, there are
lodge
cyber
the
cells.
Madam,
Yes.
where in Bihar where we can find cyber cells?
it is we will be giving you all the details, and we can have a session apart from the training session. We will have a session with that also. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, please do. Please, ma'am. It's highly
Sure.
required.
Sure, ma'am, will do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, somebody else?
Thank
Thank you.
you, Radhika ma'am.
Thank you, Rama
Thank
ma'am.
you,
It was
Rama.
really wonderful. Really speaking that each and every school heads as well as teachers are facing such problems in the class, and we learn. You can say that a little, and if we learn more, we will get a chance to learn more, because it's a vast. You can say that the topic
Yes.
which required and deal with a case study also, so that the teachers and the principals all can understand very nicely. And but you did your job very well. We are learned a lot. Now But the thing is that learning is in a continuous process. You know that every now and then we need the revision of it because we are facing new cases in the classroom. Bullying also different ways we are facing. So we wanted to deal all those things, and you are really helped a lot us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you on behalf of
Thank you,
Adivashi
ma'am, for
Sahodaya
giving me a
and
chance.
on behalf of entire participants that for your 1 hour you try to give all the points to us. Thank you. Thank you, Himanshu. Over to Himanshu, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rama ma'am.
Thank you.
President Radhika ma'am. Now we can leave.
Yes, yes.
We hope the
link.
participants have
Participant
attendance link has already been shared in the chat box. Please try to complete within half an hour from this time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. This was a wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, ma'am.